Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today we're going to be doing an update that I've been dreading. I've absolutely been dreading this update, but today we're going to be talking about my Pan Those Eyeshadows Project Pan. As always, this is a project that was created by Alexy. Her channel will be linked in the description box below, and it is a wildly popular panning project, which that's a lot of P's right there. I have actually been working on this project for 4 years now, I think. And this year I have just struggled to pick up steam. I just haven't been as passionate about this project this year as I have been in years past, which is why I'm dreading this update, because we have no goals met. Well, we kind of have some goals met. Okay, let's talk about it. This sweet little baby has been in the project forever. This is my Lime Crime Venus XL2 palette, and I am working on the shade Locust, which is this shade right here. There is a dip in there. I have used this shade an additional 3 times since our last update, for a total of 23 uses over the course of this project. If you have seen my intro, or honestly any of my previous projects, you know that I have given myself a challenge of either hitting pan on a shadow or using it 30 times before giving myself the ability to roll it out. We have hit neither one of those goals. Would I like to say that I could use it an additional 7 times before my finale next month? I think that would be amazing, but I don't have high expectations. We'll just leave it at that. The next shade that I'm working on is from my BH Cosmetics Lost in Los Angeles palette. The shade that I have been working on is this shade right here called The Hills. This has a massive, massive dent in it, and I'm really quite surprised. That there is no pan yet. I have used this an additional 20 times since our last update, for a total of 45 uses in this project. These are typically shadows that I find rather easy to hit pan on. The pans are not that deep, and I have hit pan much sooner. I think with this one specifically, more often than not, I use it as an inner corner highlight, but I also use it all over my lid as well. And I don't think pan is anywhere close in this, and I am totally floored by that. So I could technically roll this one out since I have used it a minimum of 30 times, but I'm not going to. It's a beautiful shadow, and one that I do find easy to use, quite obviously. And I do want to hit pan on it. So we're just gonna keep it around because I like it. I'm also working on a shade from the Juvia's Place at Nubian 2 palette. I'm working on the shade Jezebel. It is this shade right here. Beautiful, kind of eggplanty, plummy sort of shade. I do like it a lot. I had honestly no expectations that I was gonna hit pan in a Juvia's Place palette. So many P's in this video. But I've only used it 8 times, so certainly not with 8 times am I going to get anywhere close to pan. So this will, of course, be staying with us for a little bit longer. With that said, all of these palettes, I've enjoyed using all of the other shades in it, and I'll talk more about that at the end, but I'm going to be keeping it around. I'm also working on a shade from my Too Faced Cosmetics Chocolate Bonbon palette. The shade that I am working on is Cafe au Lait, which is this silvery shade right here. I have used it 4 times since pulling it into this project, so obviously no pan there. Not even any real discernible dip. I've been using Divinity a ton though. This is what I've been using to set my eyeshadow primer, and I am very, very close to pan on it. I actually started extending it a little bit, you know, this way, because I felt guilty about hitting pan on the shade that I wasn't working on. So it is what it is. And then finally, we have my Sydney Grace Cosmetics Autumn's Rain palette. I hate that this palette is discontinued. Like, seriously, this is one of the top palettes in the entirety of my collection, and what made me fall in love with Sydney Grace to begin with. This palette is just so perfect. So the shade that I'm working on is Nature's Crown, this really pretty brown shade right here. I don't think the camera's picking it up, but there is a slight dip, I have never hit pan on a Sydney Grace shadow. I have used this shadow 20 times since pulling it into this project, and there is hardly a dip. So I will continue to use it. I'm sure that I will hit my 30 uses without any problem, but I don't believe that pan is anywhere in that future, which honestly is not something that I'm mad at. It means that I'm getting a ton of bang for my buck. So it's not a bad thing that I'm not close to hitting pan after 20 uses. I'm just saying that it's not on the way. It's not on the way. So there's nothing new to roll in because I just am not going to. I will say, as I sort of mentioned a little bit a second ago, I've really been enjoying using the entirety of these palettes. I know that sometimes people have said, you know, well, why just focus on one shadow and hit pan and then leave the rest of the palette untouched? And I 100% agree with that. That's definitely not what I want to be doing. Have there been times in the past when I've done that? Of course there have. I want to hit goals. But I really challenged myself this year especially to take all of these palettes and have it in the back of my mind that I wanted to use all of the shadows in it at least once before rolling it out. And I've done that with the majority of these palettes. I know I've used everything in Autumn's Rain. I've almost used everything in Bonbons. I've almost used everything in Nubian too. The blue one is the one that's been a little bit daunting. I've used everything in Lost in Los Angeles, and I've used almost everything in my Lime Crime palette. So I'm definitely enjoying using the entirety of these palettes, and I have been really focusing on using more of all of the palettes that I own because it's just been where my soul has been at, let's be honest, or my soul has been at. I've really been enjoying not being, I don't want to say restricted because this is a self-imposed restriction, right? I've just really enjoyed using other things. And so I'm really very much on the fence about whether or not I'm going to bring this project back in 2023 or if I'm going to give myself a break. Because honestly, and I know I've been saying this for at least a year, probably more, I'm feeling so burnt out with panning and with putting these expectations onto myself and then maybe more often than not hitting them. It's taking some of the fun and the joy out of doing this. And so I think I'm going to be scaling for real this time, scaling the projects back pretty dramatically and just really getting to know my collection again and enjoying the things that I have. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this. So let me know down in the comments below kind of what you think. Any suggestions or recommendations are always welcome because I love you guys so much. Everything that I'm talking about is going to be linked in the description box below as always. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing before you leave. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.